Here we go, a Super Bowl edition of the Jim Miller for President Sports Program. Tim Kirshnick is here on BWC Radio with Ryan Hartson.
What's up?
And we got some special guests this afternoon, Ryan.
This is exciting. We got our entire BWC staff is with us today. We'll have Cory Bender, who's here right now. He's not going to talk yet. We have Andrew Stevens over there, who just makes me angry by looking at him. And then Willie's behind us, and he's not going to say anything because he's not involved at the moment. As we go forward, just briefly, just want to go over what we're doing today. We're going to break down the AFC and NFC games right now, just briefly. We don't need to rehash them too much. I went over them on my other show, the Ryan Hartson Show, which appears whenever I feel like doing it. And then we'll talk about NFL labor situations at some point. The Jay Cutler injury, I know a lot of people have some strong thoughts on, and particularly Willie and myself. And then we'll break down the Super Bowl a little bit. It's still too far away for me to really break down. I think we're going to do a little bit more next week.
Right.
And then we're also going to pick the game, but we'll have our three analysts, if you want to call them that, pick the game. You and I will leave our official picks until next Saturday. Give a little tease. Quickly as well, how you can reach us, BWC, Internet Media, our Facebook community page. We're not on Twitter yet, so don't worry about that. Then our email, I swear to God, if you email us, I will mention you in every segment for the rest of the year. Do not miss this opportunity. BWC Internet Radio at live.com. That's BWC Internet Radio at live.com. And now we're done with our little house cleaning things. We'll bring in Cory Bender, our NFL analyst, if you want to call him that. He just likes the NFL a little bit more than the rest of us do. So we'll start breaking down these games. Which game do you want to start with?
Oh, well.
I don't care, man. NFC?
All right, let's start with the NFC. When you look at the NFC Championship game, what was the biggest reason? By the way, the Packers won 21-14. They're in the Super Bowl. What was the biggest reason the Packers were able to win this game?
The biggest reason they were able to win this game? I don't know. Maybe the fact that the Bears did not have their starting quarterback, but really, Caleb Haney did a great job.
Yes, he did.
But also, that opening drive, Aaron Rodgers drove down the field very good, and that pretty much set the tone for the rest of the game.
Yes,
They did not score much the rest of the game, but Bears-Packers games, there's not a lot of scoring. It's typical.
Right.
But also, the way I saw them playing, they could have probably blown them out in my mind, but it didn't happen. But really, if they would have been able to not throw that interception to Brian Urlacher and also just score a bit more, and they had great field position the whole game.
Yes, they did.
Maybe the 50-yard line, maybe 40-yard line a lot, but that's all I really have to say.
All right, so Tim, I'll ask you, are you over your grief as a Bears fan at this point?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So you put on your analytical cap now, if you even have one. I feel like you lost it.
I have a mini one.
Okay, so put that very small cap on your head and tell me from just a Bears perspective what happened in this game besides the Jay Cutler injury. Again, we're going to get to that. But what were kind of the other things that went on that caused the Bears to lose the game?
Well, remember when we did the preview, I mentioned the offensive line, and they were going to have to protect Jay Cutler like they did against the Seattle Seahawks.
And they didn't.
They did not, and obviously he was forced out of the game with an injury, just taking one too many hits, and they weren't able to do it. I mean, they were able to. The Packers' offensive line were able to protect Aaron Rodgers pretty well, and against that heck of a Bears defense, but they did a good job, and it came down to the offensive lines, and the Packers were better in that department.
Mm-hmm. And did you see Aaron Rodgers get nailed by Julius Peppers?
Oh yeah.
And he comes up, his lip is bleeding. That was just so cool. I don't like awesome hits on my quarterback, but that was still a really awesome hit. Julius Peppers just nailed into him, and he got fined $10,000 during this week, by the way. All right, Cory, I'll go back to you as we're kind of bouncing from analyst to analyst on this one. AFC Championship game. Steelers get off to a huge lead.
24-0 at halftime.
Yes, 24-3 at halftime. It was 24-0 at one point. You're right.
Out,
So, what did the Jets do to come back, and how were the Steelers able to finish them off in the end?
Really, I don't know. The way I saw the Jets playing, they were just, I don't know, I guess it was methodical. I guess I didn't pay much attention to this game, but I'll do my best. I really think that the receivers started to do good, and Mark Sanchez started to cool down, I guess, and tried to figure out what he should do. They took a little longer than I thought, and they had a chance to win this game, but the Steelers' defense ultimately pulled it off by that last-minute drive they had. I mean, going for it on, third and, I can't remember, maybe 10, I guess. Mm-hmm. Passing the ball, you got to trust your quarterback to do that.
Was that the end?
Yeah, it was at the end.
That was a 3rd and 6, I think.
Yeah, but still, even if you're going to pass it, you still got to trust your quarterback, because if you miss an incompletion, you punt it, you still give them a chance to win the game.
Yes.
So they have a tremendous amount of confidence in Ben Roethlisberger, and I wouldn't even doubt it first minute. He's already got 2 rings, going to go for his 3rd, and you know what? We'll see what happens.
Did you even watch the game, dude?
I watched bits and pieces of it. I mean, I saw the big plays.
I was spending a lot of time listening to music and eating pizza after the NFC game because I was so pumped about the Packers. Right. So I didn't watch as much of it. I watched all the second half. But I'll just ask you, what really happened? What do you think happened with the Jets? Was it like shell shock? Was it emotion? Why did the Jets get off to such a slow start?
Yeah, I think it was just like nerves or something. I mean, that's the only thing it could have been. They just looked so sloppy at the beginning. And it was interesting because Ben Roethlisberger, he sometimes gets off to slow starts, but this one he got off to a great start.
Yeah.
And then it slowed down towards the end, which usually doesn't happen with him. But he made the big plays, and that was the key in this one.
And if the Steelers get off to a quick start in the Super Bowl, the Packers have the ability to come back. This is going to be an extremely close game in the Super Bowl. We'll get to that. Just really quickly from the Jets side, I don't know if I mentioned this on Monday when I did the show or not, but what I thought was the Jets put so much emotion into the Patriots game because it was their rival. It was a playoff game. It was in Foxborough. It was just huge from every angle, and it was just they put so much emotion into it. So then by the time you got to the championship game, they were kind of out of gas, and it took them some time to get their mojo back. But they were able to make some plays and get back going in the game. They came really close, and I'd say the Jets, because I think the Steelers are going to be a little old. I think the Patriots, I feel like the Patriots aren't going to be quite as good next year.
That's
like
what
maybe
people are saying this year.
Maybe 12-4, but not 14-2.
Yeah.
So I think the Jets might be. I think they're my favorite to win the AFC right now for 2011. Now we've got 8 million years in like sports calendar time before that can happen, but I would say the Jets are the favorites to be in the Super Bowl next year. As close to a sure thing as you can get. Great defense, and I think Sanchez is going to get ready to take that next step next year. So big things for the Jets. We have other big things coming up. What do we got next?
Oh, we got the discussion on the Jay Cutler injury. That was big news last week. A little quick one on that, and we get into the Super Bowl later, so that's all coming up next on a Jim Miller President Sports Program.
On BWC, Internet Radio.